Hi team. In this video, we're going to talk about how people manipulate earnings, why they manipulate earnings, and how far they're willing to take this practice using WeWork as an example. In April of 2018, the Wall Street Journal reported that WeWork's revenues had doubled to $866 million ahead of the company's proposed bond offering. Co-founder Adam Neumann was creating a fantastic investment narrative, and investors had piled into the 8-year-old company, providing $6 billion at up to a $20 billion valuation. The challenge facing the company, losses had also doubled to $933 million. Fortunately, a marketing solution was available in the form of adjusted EBITDA. Now, EBITDA can be helpful because adding back interest expense, taxes, and non-cash charges, including depreciation and amortization, provides a quick back-of-the-envelope approach to evaluating how much interest expense a company can tolerate. But it has become pretty common for this metric to include additional adjustments when there's an attempt to raise capital or sell shares to make the company look even more profitable than it is. WeWork would push the envelope on an otherwise common attempt to inflate earnings with words versus dollars. They called the fully adjusted number community adjusted EBITDA, by which it subtracted not only interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, but also basic expenses like marketing, general and administrative, and development and design costs. Those earnings were $233 million, WeWork said. I've never seen the phrase community adjusted EBITDA in my life, said Adam Cohen, founder of Covenant Review, a bond research company. This figure was cited in the bond prospectus, which makes a company's ability to pay interest expense especially important. The company's S1 filing provides the 2017 figure plus a glimpse into the future. To echo the sums in the introduction, in 2017 you have a net loss of $933 million, adjusted EBITDA of negative $193 million, and community adjusted EBITDA of $233 million. Miraculously, in 2018, this loss grows to nearly $2 billion, but fortunately, community adjusted EBITDA grows to $467 million. Makes sense. Now, as an aside, the S1 word count for community reaches 150. Very convincing. Then in July of 2018, the FT punched back at WeWork's valuation. CEO and co-founder Adam Neumann supported a $20 billion valuation, claiming that WeWork is a community and a state of consciousness that brings people together to change the world. In contrast, the FT reported, WeWork's claim to disruptor status in serviced offices also requires scrutiny. The existence of older providers such as IWG is the elephant in the office. Like them, WeWork has a business model underpinned by unglamorous property market arbitrage, leasing offices, fixing them up, and renting them out at a higher rate. If the groups are fundamentally the same, it makes no sense to value WeWork at $20 billion, more than 10 times expected sales. IWG is the world's largest serviced office provider with more than 10 times the number of offices and a profitable business model. Yet it has an equity value below $4 billion. This values IWG at 1.2 times forward sales. If valued at the same multiple, WeWork would be worth around $2.7 billion. Be sure to remember this number, the $2.7 billion. Now, the word that should leap off the page is profitable. WeWork could not be compared to IWG based on profitability because it was on schedule to lose $1 billion annually. Well, at least based on any standard measure of profitability. Which brings us back to community adjusted EBITDA, which the FT skewered, but simultaneously pointed out that the number was accepted by investors, which is wildly alarming. By stripping out almost every cost, from advertising to those associated with setting up new offices, this figure was positive at $233 million last year. CFO Artie Minson says he received no pushback from investors. But such flattering bespoke measures of profits remain a red flag for many investors. Online Groupon site abandoned its own individual measure after attracting negative attention. WeWork would be wise to do the same. For reasons that defy logic, SoftBank's Masayoshi Son chose to ignore the red flags and pushed WeWork's valuation to $47 billion in private dealings with Neumann by summer of that year. By October, just 6 weeks later, the valuation plummeted by 70%, Fast forward to May of 2020, and WeWork's valuation stood at $2.9 billion. EBITDA is frequently used as a proxy for cash flow. It is anything but. In businesses that require heavy capital expenditures or those with heavy debt burdens, the discrepancy between EBITDA and cash is vast. Add to this the adjustments investment bankers and management teams will use to embellish or even exaggerate earnings, and this metric can become meaningless. As the saying goes, you can't eat EBITDA. All right, team, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.